Hey guys, I hope you're having a good day. If you don't know, my name's Brittany and I film videos based around the paranormal and mythological beings. So if that's something that you think might interest you, go ahead and click that subscribe button real quick. And just real quick, the random music that you will hear in the background is from my son's jumper. Now today we're actually going to talk about a mystical phenomenon called fairy rings. Now, Shakespeare wrote about fairy rings in A Midsummer Night's Dream, and he wrote, "And I serve the fairy queen, dew her orbs upon the green. Weather starts to cool, and summer transitions to fall. Fairy rings appear all over the world and spark our imagination. If you happen to spy one on your lawn, or come across one while hiking, and perhaps try listening to the quiet sounds of laughter and merriment that people have heard from them for thousands of years." So what exactly are fairy rings? For thousands of years, people believed the sudden appearance of a ring of mushrooms were a sure sign of otherworldly presence. These rings would seem to appear overnight, and they could often travel from one place to another. And they didn't really seem to have any explanation when they appeared. They could be just a few inches in diameter or up to 160 feet. The ring found in Belfort, France is actually said to be the largest ring ever found. It is approximately 2,000 feet in diameter and is around 700 years old. Now, it is said that fairy rings occur when a mushroom spore falls into a favorable spot. Rosa mycelium, an underground network of fine tubular threads called hyphae. Mushroom caps then appear at the edges of the network. Formations continue to expand outwards, and while they do this, they tend to use all of the nutrients as they grow larger. Now, in the center of a fairy ring, the grass is dead, so this would explain that. Scientists even admit that mycelium is not the reason for all fairy rings, and the entire reason isn't completely known. Now, folklore tells us cultures across Europe believe that fairy rings are the dwelling places of fairies, elves, witches, and other magical beings. Myths involve fairies or supernatural beings either dancing around the ring or having the ring serve as some kind of portal between our world and the fairy realm. It has also been believed that the rings were formed by lightning strikes, shooting stars, or were even the work of witches. These beliefs persisted well into the 19th century, along with warnings to never set foot inside the ring, unless you wanted to be transported into the fairy realm and potentially face certain doom. In France, fairy rings were actually called sorcerer rings, and in Germany, they were called witches' rings. They were most active during Walpurgisnacht. I probably pronounced that wrong, but it's held on the eve of April 30th, and it's where witches would meet in a large group and hold these large celebrations in honor for the arrival of spring. It's said that fairy rings were more common to appear on moonlit nights or on the morning after it was proven that there was dancing the night before. In Scotland, it was believed that fairies would use the mushrooms as stools or chairs. And in Wales, it was said that the fairies would pick the mushrooms and use them as parasols or umbrellas. And to this day, it is actually believed in Wales that the rings signify an underground fairy village. In Welsh folklore, it's said that the rings actually signify fertility and good fortune. And they claim that the crops that are grown around the rings, as well as the animals that graze around the rings, are said to flourish. A Welsh legend called Llywelyn and Rhys. Could have pronounced that one wrong as well, but this legend says that the pace of the fairy world differs from ours. A person could dance for minutes around the fairy ring just to discover that it has been days or weeks in the human one. If one manages to actually make it back to the human world, the shock could easily kill them. Now, in Dutch legends, it's claimed that the barren center of the ring is actually caused by the devil placing his milk churn there. And in Austrian tradition, it's stated that flying dragons actually caused the ring, and that they would scorch the area so that only toadstools would grow there for 7 years. French folklore actually claimed that these strange circles were guarded by giant toads who would curse anyone who stepped into the ring. Now, if you dared to enter the ring, many myths would warn you that you'd die young. You'd also become invisible to the human world and would be instantly transported into the fairy realm. You would also be forced to dance around the ring until you died from either exhaustion or madness. However, there is a way to enter the fairy ring without any penalty. You can run around the ring 9 times, but you have to make sure that it's exactly 9. You can also run around the ring during a full moon, but when you run around the ring, you have to make sure that you're running in the direction that the sun would travel during the day. If you do this, it's said that you would hear the fairies dancing under the ground. It said you can also wear a hat backwards, and that this is said to confuse the fairies, and thus they will do you no harm. Now, fairy rings obviously have a ton of different myths around them, and they vary so much from dragons to fairies and elves and witches. And it's crazy that even scientists say that there's not an explanation for all of them. So do you think that some of these fairy rings are actually portals to the other realm? I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that it could actually be a portal? Do you think that a dragon might have caused it, or a fairy? Have you guys ever seen one? Seen one of these mystical rings? And I want to know if there's anything that you guys would like me to dive into. Feel free to reach out to me. There's all the ways down below. And if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And make sure to subscribe and hit that little post notification button, because I have a ton of content coming your guys' way. Like, it's literally a binder full of things. So make sure to hit that button so you guys don't miss a single one. And I hope that you guys have a great either the rest of your day or night, whichever time of day that you are tuning into this. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time.